Today I will present my experience and detailed analysis of the Renault Clio from about 2019 onward, including the late Clio IV models and the entire Clio fifth generation. The Clio has consistently been one of the most widely used small cars in Europe. The used market is full of them, but because the condition of individual vehicles varies considerably, it is worth discussing what these cars typically show in long-term use. Let's get started. Let me begin with the general picture. The Clio is designed primarily as a practical daily use vehicle, economical, compact, easy to operate and maintain. Many people who use it in everyday life describe it as convenient and predictable, but certain behaviors and technical issues appear repeatedly across different owners and different driving conditions. The first important area is the 12-volt electrical system. On the Clio 5th generation, the energy management system reduces alternator load during city driving to improve fuel efficiency. As a result, the battery may not receive full charging on short trips. This is noticeable when the car is started after several days of inactivity or during winter. Drivers often report slower cranking or brief warning messages that disappear immediately. This does not necessarily indicate a fault, but it does mean that the condition of the battery should be checked carefully when buying a used vehicle. A proper cold start test is strongly recommended. Next one, the petrol engines widely used in these years. The 1.0 TCE is the most common engine. It performs well in everyday use and offers very good fuel economy. However, some units produce a distinctive metallic sound from the turbocharger area, most apparent at low RPMs or during gentle throttle transitions. The sound usually comes from the wastegate control mechanism. Not every engine does this, but when the noise is loud and repetitive, it should be evaluated. During a cold start, this sound is easier to detect. Another characteristic of the 1.0 TCE is slightly irregular operation when cold. Some cars show mild RPMs fluctuations or small hesitation when moving off shortly after starting. These symptoms typically disappear once the engine warms up and are often improved by updated software or adjustments. Still, it is important to check this during a test drive. The 1.3 TCE engine, though less common in the Clio, offers a smoother and more refined driving experience. It is a better choice for drivers who frequently travel longer distances. Technical issues in this engine appear less frequently, especially regarding turbocharger noise. I now move on to the transmissions. The manual gearboxes in the Clio are generally reliable and simple in construction. However, at higher mileage, usually above 120,000 kilometers, some vehicles develop heavier or less precise gear engagement. Several drivers report that changing the gearbox oil significantly improves shifting quality. Although the manufacturer does not list this service as mandatory, it's a useful measure for maintaining long-term reliability. The EDC dual clutch transmission requires particular attention. Many vehicles shift quickly and smoothly, but others show slight jerks during takeoff or inconsistent behavior in low-speed maneuvers. This variation is strongly linked to service history. The EDC needs regular oil changes and appropriate driving habits to maintain optimal condition. When purchasing a Clio with the EDC gearbox, a thorough test drive is essential. One should test repeated starts, parking maneuvers, and transitions between lower gears. Electronic systems in the Clio are generally stable, but occasional short warning messages can appear. These may relate to traction control, engine sensors, or voltage fluctuations. If such messages appear once and disappear, they are typically harmless. However, repeated warnings require proper diagnostics. For the Clio IV generation specifically, potential moisture inside the cabin is an issue worth mentioning. Blocked drainage puffs near the windshield can cause water to enter the interior. Symptoms include damp carpets, a musty smell, or fogging on the inside of the windows. When inspecting a used Clio 4th generation, lifting the floor mats and checking the insulation underneath is essential. As for the interior, it is functional and ergonomically designed, but sound insulation is moderate. At motorway speeds, noticeable wind and tire noise enters the cabin. Additionally, some plastic elements can develop light rattles when driving on rough surfaces. These do not indicate mechanical problems, but affect overall comfort. Regarding the suspension, the Clio behaves stable and predictable. Nevertheless, higher mileage cars may show wear on the rear shock absorbers or the bushings of the rear axle. This manifests as more pronounced impacts on transverse bumps or slightly reduced stability over uneven surfaces. During a test drive, it is important to observe how the rear of the vehicle responds to bumps and rapid load changes. Finally, oil seepages are occasionally reported. These may occur around engine seals, gearbox housings, or drive shaft areas. These are not frequent, but a visual inspection on the lift can easily reveal them. To summarize, when evaluating a used Renault Clio from 2019 onward, the following key points should be checked. Cold start, behavior, and battery health. Presence of metallic turbocharger sounds at low RPMs. Shift quality of manual or EDC transmissions. Moisture under floor mats, especially in Clio the fourth generation. Interior noise levels and plastic rattles on rough roads. Condition of suspension components and tire wear patterns. Service history, especially for turbocharged engines and EDC gearboxes, I would recommend. When these elements are satisfactory, the Clio is a reliable, economical, and efficient everyday vehicle. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, consider subscribing to the channel. See you in the next one. Bye!